Hello everyone. Once again, welcome. Welcome to Mahali Mzuri. Welcome to Olare Motorogi Conservancy. We are live from Maasai Mara, Olare Motorogi Conservancy. It is another beautiful day today. We have just kicked on our evening game drive. And it is very calm today. It is really nice. The weather look a little bit, cooler today. So most of the animals are quite active at this particular time of the hour. Although it's a little bit silent, it's quite quiet. We have some animals specifically around here. We are just right in the middle of Olare Motorogi Conservancy. Actually, I'm Jackson and my cameraman is Gideon. We have Levi as well there. So we're just going to start and see whatever we can find today. If Gideon turned the camera, I can see some giraffe a little bit at far end. There are two female giraffe which are a little bit further away, but I can try to drive a little bit closer to where they are. So we can try and drive a little bit and see whether we can see them closer. So hang on, we're gonna drive and see whether we can get close to them. The road is a little bit bumpy because we are just driving a little bit off-road driving. This is a bit of a rocky area. Remember, we have a lot of volcanic rocks along this area. So it is such a rocky country. So Africa is one of the most beautiful continents we have around. I think this is one of the most beautiful time to visit Africa. The weather look beautiful. So I'm actually driving a bit closer to the two giraffe, the Maasai giraffe. So they're right there. So this is one of the Maasai giraffe. It's actually just behind the tree, so it's walking out of the tree. When you look at it, it's a female. Walking slowly. So this is one of the country for the giraffes and elephants. The giraffe normally like to go for this kind of acacia trees. This is where they feed on. Very quiet. They're very elegant animals, and remember, they're purely browsers, so they normally go for the leaves of the trees. Hang on, I just want to drive a little bit closer again. So that is an Acacia Nilotica. It's one of the most favorite tree for giraffe. The giraffe has got a very long prehensile trunk that normally enable them to pick the leaves of the tree, and normally be able to separate the leaves and the thorns. Remember, these are thorny bushes, so the giraffe particularly, they like to go for these thorny acacia trees. These are one of the most social animal. They don't do a lot of they don't make much noise. The only time you can find a giraffe making noise is actually if they come across, probably maybe if the lion tried to kill it, or maybe a lion tried to kill a young one. Those are the specific time I hear them making some noise. Remember, these are the tallest land mammal. They normally live up to 30 years. That is about 28 to 30 years. That is a lifespan. All right, I'm gonna drive along so that we can get more closer. So the grass are very long and lushy. Remember, this is the time for the migration of wildebeest. We're just waiting for the big numbers to come across the conservancy as well and cut off the grass. We call them the lawn moss because they slash all the grass in the Mara. There's a hyena there. So there is a hyena there. That is a hyena, a spotted hyena. It is a little bit resting. So that is a spotted hyena, is resting. So it's a bit time for this animal to rest. Remember, the hyenas are specifically nocturnal animals. So the hyenas normally come out of the bushes late in the evening, and that is the time they can try to find some food. So this is one single hyena. Remember, they live in a clan. Sometimes you might find more than 5 or even 10 hyenas in a particular area. But in some point they normally separate. Whenever they don't have young ones, you might find some single ones.
Someone is asking about the giraffe. How many babies is a female likely to have in her lifetime?
Remember, they have a bit of a long gestation period, that is about 14 months. So a giraffe can have up to roughly four young ones. So particularly when you look at the hyena, the hyena are always we call them the environment cleaners, because they normally clean everything that they come around. So definitely they go for the dead animals, and actually they clean everything they come across. So the hyenas, they are very, very important to the environment, because anything that die, any dead animal, the hyenas are the one that normally feed on bones and also on dead carcasses. Right, the hyena look like a little bit sleepy. You can see it's lying down. So what they normally do, the hyenas are more scavengers. They normally scavenge from lion kill, although they can make their own kill as well. The hyenas can be very active. They're active even hunters and lions, so they're more successful than lions because they hunt in a pack. You might come across a pack of hyenas, like maybe 20 of them, of which they make them more easier for them to hunt when they move in a group. All right, so we're gonna drive around, because you can see I've just lie down. It's still there, but you can see they're just popping up the head and go down again. So we're gonna try to find something else. So we are driving along and see what the nature will provide us. Remember, the game drives are very tricky because at this particular time of the year we have a lot of long grass in the Mara, which makes sometimes the animals to hide very well, particularly the cats. try that. That's a secretary bird. It is a snake hunter. They normally go for snakes. So it's a secretary bird. They normally walk along this grass because the grass area, these are the places they normally get snakes. So it's walking quickly, trying to find some snakes along. Remember, when the grass is long, this is a place they can get the food: lizards, snakes, grasshoppers, and other things. We call it a secretary bird because it's well dressed. Whenever you see it, you see it's a little bit officially dressed. You can see they have a black shirt trouser, a white shirt. And when you look on the top of the head, they have some quills like a secretary in the old days used to put some pens on their heads. So that's the reason why. All right, so we're gonna drive along. So through the bushes, I can see a big group of, or a big herd of elephants. So we're just trying whether we can get close to them. Where we are going through is such a very bumpy ride because of the rocks.
Jackson, there is a question here.
Yes.
When do you expect to see the large herd of wildebeest arrive in the conservancy?
I think probably for the next like another maybe 5 or maybe another 1 week, we're gonna see the big group of wildebeest probably crossing over the conservancy. Remember, the wildebeest, they make sure that they cross over every part of the Mara because they want to feed all of the grass along the Mara. Right, so that is a herd of an elephant. So that is a family. We come across this group of elephants earlier on. You can see they have a lot of young ones. This is another beautiful country for it because you can see they have a lot of acacia trees here, which is one of the most favorite food for them. That is one of the female walking there. Elephants normally have a matriarch way of leadership, whereby the female is a leader, and then the male will just need to be together if they're mating. When you look at the two little ones here, you can see they've been wallowing. So if you zoom a little bit, you can see the body is more covered by mud. Yeah, that is a way of cooling down. That is a way of cooling down, and also whenever they have some ticks on their bodies, that is a way they can kill the ticks or suffocate. And one of the most interesting things whenever you watch the elephants, they use their legs to kick the little shrub whenever they want to eat. So some of the little shrubs on the ground are very tough. So what they normally do, they just kick it off and then they try to feed on it. So look at the two there. They're actually sharing a tree, but earlier on there was a little bit of a disagreement among them because one was complaining that you're coming closer to my tree, and we had a bit of a sound like rumbling. That is a way they normally do to tell the other one, I'm not happy. Don't come close to me. Remember, the elephants are very intelligent animals. They have such a good memory, and in particular, they can be able to mourn whenever they lose their leg members. So that's one of the big mama walking there. And then when you look at the background, I can see some gazelle and a wildebeest. These are some of the few residents wildebeest. Maybe Gideon, maybe you need to zoom a little bit on the background. You can see there's some gazelles there, and also there's some, I can see a few wildebeest as well. That's a Thompson gazelle. Thompson gazelle. So particularly these animals, they like to stay together because of the gazelles and zebras and wildebeest. They're all actually like to stay together because they're safety numbers. So they help each other in terms of any predator trying to come in, and also for the elephants as well. If anything like a lion came across here, the elephants will mob it away, because when you look at the group, they have some young ones, and they normally try to protect their young ones away from predators. One is still eating, still feeding on the tree. That's an acacia. Remember, the elephants, they have a 6 set of molars. So every time they win a set of molar, until they win the last set of molar, that is at an age of 60 years. And that is the particular time that they cannot be able to feed on the hard branches of trees. The tusk they use to cut off the branches. Very interesting animals. Remember, the trunk of an elephant is full of muscle. They have like 1 million muscles on the trunk. So what I'm gonna do, I just want to drive a little bit forward. We have another group coming out of the bush, so now we can see them lining up. Look at that. That is another big family. They're all lining up. They have a lot of young ones. I think there was a little bit of a pool they've been wallowing, because whenever I can see them, I can see they have a lot of muds on the body. The elephants like particular, look at that little one in the middle. That is how they protect. Very silent. You can see some of the little ones are just right there because they feel very safe here, and that is why they're not really agitated, but they're quite doing very well, chilling out. Absolutely. The young ones always look very adorable, especially when you see them without the tusk. They look so pretty. Remember, their ears as well are purposely made for cooling down. They have a lot of tiny veins that run across their ears, and that particular helps them to cool down, especially during the hot time of the day. So what they do, they flap their ears, and the more they flap their ears, they're just cooling them down. The blood on the vein cool down very quickly, and then they can spread to the rest of the body. Some two little ones there. And then that's one of the mothers got one tusk. One of the other tusk is broken. Remember, they break their tusk when they are, whenever they are feeding on the trees. Sometimes they dig along the river banks. So that is how they break their tusk. Yes, we normally call them the gentle giants. Actually, the age of those little ones varies because I saw some that are, I think, probably 2 months old. Those with a little tusk shooting out are probably 1.5 to almost 2 years old. Yeah, so I think the youngest one here is roughly 2 to 3 months old, I guess. All right, let me just try to go a little bit forward, whether we can get a bit closer again. Gonna drive a little bit closer to them because they're moving a little bit away from us, but because they just keep grazing as they move along. Bit rocky. So those are the rocks.
There's a question here.
Yep.
Do all elephants get tusks?
Yes, for the African elephant, both male and females have tusks. Although the female's tusks are much bigger, I mean the male tusks are much bigger than the female. So both sexes have tusks. But for the Indian elephants, only males have. But African elephants, both male and female, have tusks. So you can see the light on the background. Remember, we almost our sun set. So the light on the background is really beautiful. Some of the ears has got a little bit of a piercing. You know, sometimes whenever they go through the bushes, they end up injuring the ears. It's a little one there. It's a little one right in the middle there. Right there. That's so cute. Look at that. You can see the little trunk is up. That's a mommy. Remember, the elephants, the mothers are very protective. They always try to make sure that they protect their young ones. Right, let me just try to drive a little bit around. So that's a bit of a, wherever you see on the background, you can see the sun almost going down, and then you can see the elephants as well. So this is always a beautiful sunset of Africa. elephants live in families, so definitely this is like maybe 3 or 4 families together here. And actually they try to hang along, because when they have plenty of grass and water, they stay together. But sometimes whenever the droughts exist or persist, they normally break the groups into small groups. Right, let me just drive the other angle for a more better light. So they're actually coming toward us. Look at, there's one getting some milk from the mother right there. It is actually a bit closer now. I think we are less than 2 meters away from them. Look at the little one. It's a bit playful. Look at the old group. We have just been surrounded by the old family. All right, that was a very incredible thing. I mean, they are so close to us, and this is such a lovely group. You can hear the sound. There's a bit of a group of wildebeest along here. These are some of a part of the migration, but these are the residents. We call them the loiter migration. They have already moved from loiter plains to the Mara because they want to meet their group or their cousin from Serengeti. So these are the guys that they normally like to go for the top layer of the grass before the big migration or the big numbers are in. So whenever you see them, there are quite many of them, because we normally receive about 500,000 of wildebeest from the loiter. Remember, this is a bit of we call it a rutting season for the wildebeest. This is the right time for them to mate. So they're mating at this particular time of the year, and There's one from Serengeti, they give birth in the southern part of Serengeti. And then the later ones, they move to the later plains, which is on the eastern side of the Mara. And that's where they can have some young ones. Remember the wildebeest, they mate at the same time. And actually they have young ones at the same time as well. You can hear the sounds of the wildebeest making a bit of a noise. So let me just drive a little bit. That is still our family of elephants. So where they're heading to is there's a river down there. So that is where they're heading to. So the river is more thicket. They have a lot of bushes as well for them to feed on. So that is such a great area for them to head down there. So the gnu or the wildebeest. There is again a predator here, which is a hyena. It's coming out of the bushes there. So whenever the hyena hear the sounds of the wildebeest, you normally think of a meal. That's right there. It is actually getting a little bit of a great time. It's getting a bit of a time to concentrate more because it's such a time for them to start getting up. Oh, it's running. I think I've seen something. You can see it's running. Having a bit of a chase. The hyena is chasing something. I think I can see it's chasing a young impala. Although it's a little bit away, but so we are just trying to follow and see. There was a very tiny young impala, and that's what the hyena was trying to get it. I don't see anything yet. Oh, I think I've just missed it because the hyena is right here. So the poor hyena is not lucky because it's right there. It's was trying to kill a little young impala, but have just missed it. So probably it's trying to go around again and see whether she will find something else. As I told you earlier, the hyenas are actually, they can hunt as well, but normally they try to go for any weak or a sick animal. Let me just go around. So I was not lucky today for the hyena. I have just missed on an inch. Although remember the hyenas, they can run for a long distance without getting tired. So they can keep running. All right, I've been a great day today. We're just coming end of our game drive. So once again, I said thank you for watching, and welcome to Mahali Mzuri. This is Olare Motorogi Conservancy, and goodbye. See you next Wednesday for another live game drive.